Are you listening?
Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Report. My name is Brian Chappelle, and on this week's episode, Microsoft lays down the next generational gauntlet with new details surrounding the Xbox Series X. Brand new PlayStation patents have leaked showing features for the upcoming DualShock 5 controller. The upcoming Game Developers Conference in San Francisco has been postponed due to the coronavirus. And the future of Google Stadia was leaked this week, including a brand new studio, AAA Games, YouTube streaming, and much more. But before we jump into any of that, your top headlines. First up this week, the PlayStation 5. Right now, the world of gaming is in a really interesting place. Everyone is waiting for PlayStation to drop even the smallest bit of PlayStation 5 news, but for the most part, Sony is on radio silence, and the anticipation is killing me. It's like when you text someone and a checkmark shows up right next to the message so you can obviously see that they read it, and then 3 dots pop up meaning that they're obviously writing a response, so you wait a couple more minutes, but then nothing comes. And you're like, why isn't Eric responding? Does Eric think that answering my questions are beneath me? I mean, it's not a hard question, Eric. Do you want sour cream on your tacos? Sorry, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, PlayStation. Well, despite their radio silence, recent patent leaks discovered online have given gamers a glimpse into the future of PlayStation. The 2 patent leaks in question seem to revolve around the upcoming DualShock 5 controller. The first patent would feature a sensor that would collect the gamer's biometric feedback during gameplay, meaning that your heart rate or sweat could be detected by your DualShock 5, and if the developers choose, they could alter gameplay to either increase or lower your heart rate. Which honestly, as a fan of horror games, this has always been a dream of mine. Imagine if a game could sense when you were scared, and a developer could alter the terror or increase the intensity of the game on a moment's notice. You would have developers like, okay, Tommy is now entering the basement. His heart rate is at 98. He's looking for the flashlight. Heart rate at 100. Oh, he found the key. His heart rate's at 108. Send in the clowns. And then Tommy hits himself on live stream and we all laugh. That's the next generation content that I'm looking for. And going back to the patents, the second patent discovered this week would bring wireless charging to DualShock controllers. That's right, the new wireless charging adapter can attach to any wireless DualShock controller and allow gamers to recharge their controllers without a USB connection. Now, immediately, this adapter could be used with your DualShock 4 controllers. However, it does beg the question, could the new DualShock 5 controller feature wireless charging capabilities? Only time will tell. Next up, let's talk about CyberPunk 2077. Developer CD Projekt Red shattered the internet earlier this year following the announcement that CyberPunk would not receive a release on Series X or the PlayStation 5. However, this week, CD Projekt Red finally shed light on that previous statement. In a tweet, CyberPunk wrote, "Gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice, or purchase for upgrades. Owners of hashtag Cyberpunk 2077 for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available." Which brings us to our next story, the
Xbox Series X.
This week, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, updated gamers on brand new features coming to the Microsoft next-gen console. Right off the bat, Spencer confirmed that the Xbox Series X will feature 12 teraflops, variable rate shading, hardware-accelerated DirectX ray tracing, quick resume for multiple games, and smart delivery. Now, this isn't the first time with the Xbox Series X that we've heard the term of
12 teraflops.
But this is the first time that we have had the chance to understand how powerful that really is. The 12 teraflops inside of the Xbox Series X are the equivalent processing power of 2 Xbox One X's. In fact, it would take 9 original Xbox Ones to equal 1 Xbox Series X, 50 Xbox 360s, and 2,000 original Xboxes to equal the processing power of the Xbox Series X. Now, I can get excited about teraflops as much as the next guy, but that isn't the thing we should be most excited about. Because trust me, you should not sleep on
Smart delivery.
According to Phil Spencer, smart delivery will empower you to buy a game once and know that whether you are playing on the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X, you are getting the right version of that game on whatever Xbox you're playing on. Smart delivery is also tied into Xbox's overall focus into backwards compatibility. In fact, the Xbox Series X will feature 4 generations of gaming, with every generation benefiting from steadier frame rates, faster load times, improved resolution, and visual fidelity without any additional work from developers. Now, we have still yet to hear the official cost of the Xbox Series X, but we do know that it will be launching in the holiday season of 2020. And finally, for our top headlines, the coronavirus. The effect that the coronavirus is having throughout the world certainly cannot be ignored. And prior to this week, we knew that developers were beginning to back out of conventions out of fear that their employees would contract the virus. Well, this week, the video game industry convention circuit received its first victim, GDC. GDC, otherwise known as the Game Developers Conference, is one of the largest gatherings of industry professionals in the world, with companies like Amazon, Epic Games, Microsoft, Google, Sony Interactive, and Facebook Gaming all hosting panels and showing off their latest innovations. But this year's GDC has unfortunately been clouded by the coronavirus, with companies like PlayStation, Amazon, Epic Games, Microsoft, and Facebook all backing out of the convention. And this week, we learned that GDC 2020 was officially being postponed. In an official statement from GDC, after close consultation with our partners in the game development industry and community around the world, we've made the difficult decision to postpone the Games Developer Conference this March. We want to thank all our customers and partners for their support, open discussions, and encouragement. For this reason, we fully intend to host a GDC event later in the summer. We will begin working with our partners to finalize the details, and we'll share more information about our plans in the coming weeks. Well, that of course is going to wrap up this week's top headlines. So, without further ado, let's jump into our top story with the rundown.
Now for something completely different. Yeah.
Google Stadia. We are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the announcement of Google Stadia. And right now, we are entering quite possibly the most crucial time in Stadia's existence. Google Stadia launched in November, and Stadia founders received 3 months of Stadia Pro, which offers up to 4K resolution, 60 frames per second gameplay, discounted games, and free video games every single month. And as of last week, the 3 free months of Stadia Pro have come to an end. So if Pro members would like to continue their membership, they will have to pay $9.99 a month. But for many of them, including myself, they are looking for Stadia to provide reasons to stay, to explain what the future has in store for Stadia players. And in Stadia's defense, they certainly have been making a case for gamers. In the last 2 weeks, Google has announced 9 new games coming to Stadia, along with the service being expanded to additional smartphones and tablets. And for the first time since the launch of Stadia, Pro members will receive 3 games for free for the month of March, as opposed to the traditional 2 games. However, if you find that you're needing more reasons to convince yourself to stay, we have you covered. Because on 2 separate occasions this week, brand new Stadia news about the future of the platform leaked, and we definitely need to talk about it. So let's jump into a brand new segment that we aptly called Our first leak comes from a Q&A session on Google's Life at Google YouTube page, in which Stadia Vice President Jade Raymond, Head of Creative Aaron Hoffman-John, and Executive Producer Justin Lambros sat down to discuss the future and present of Google Stadia. And as tempting as it might be to dive right into the future, it would be a disservice to not talk about Stadia's current mindset right now. During the video, every employee echoed the sentiment that Stadia definitely has a new tech startup feel, where the company is focusing on out-of-the-box ideas and how they can innovate, push boundaries, along with making life for developers much easier. It was also revealed that Stadia's major focus right now is how do we create a platform for the next billion gamers. Currently, it's estimated that there are 2.8 billion gamers in the world, and Stadia is asking how do we appeal to people who may not be gamers yet? What games can we create that might bring new people to our platform? Which honestly is great news. Every video game company should be figuring out how they can push boundaries and make once-in-a-lifetime games. But I can already sense it. I hear what you're saying. Let's talk about the future. During the video, Jade Raymond revealed that within the next 5 years, she believes Stadia will be home to the AAA quality Breath of the Wild style video games. And I will be the first to admit, 5 years is pretty far off. But luckily for us, they did talk about things happening sooner. The video also revealed that a second new Stadia studio would be announced in the next few weeks. Previously, Stadia had opened a Montreal studio and acquired Typhoon Games, so a third studio focusing on exclusive Stadia content would definitely be a welcomed announcement. But quite possibly, the best part of the video was hearing that Stadia understands where they are struggling. In fact, Jade Raymond herself admitted that content is a huge hurdle that the company still needs to overcome, along with being aware that they are the first new console to launch in 20 years. And for many gamers, they weren't even alive when the last console started from the ground up. But like I said, the immediate future of Google Stadia seems like the most important. And luckily, this week, data miners discovered new features arriving very soon. Following the 2.7 Google Stadia update, data miners discovered new code confirming a free version of Stadia is already in the app's codings. According to 9to5google.com, the Stadia app is preparing for that future, with a new sign-up flow that lets new users register for an account without a code. And this is big news, because currently the only way to use Stadia is with a Premier Edition or a Buddy Pass. Now, the coding also revealed that Stadia is about to offer a 30-day free Stadia Pro trial. However, it does seem like the free trials may have a limit, as the data miners found coding that says, sorry, Stadia is full in your area. Alright, Stadia free is definitely going to be a huge plus for the service. But live streaming games to YouTube, that's going to be a game changer. 9to5Google continued to confirm that new coding for notifications that read start live stream options, live stream ended, and your live streaming were discovered in the new update. The coding also continues to add ways for users to control both the visibility and name of your live stream directly through the platform, which is really interesting. Because the most appealing part of Google Stadia for me is how it lowers the cost of entry to 4K gaming for everyone. Instead of a $600 next generation console, gamers can buy a $59 controller and use their smartphone. But with the ability to live stream from the Stadia app, Google is now lowering the cost of entry for live streaming as well. How many new content creators are going to start making Let's Plays because of Google Stadia? Could the next PewDiePie, Ninja, or Dr. Lupo get their start because of Stadia? That's not only a future in gaming that I can get behind, but it gets me extremely excited. And finally for this week, we come to... That noise, of course, signifies that we are running out of time and coming close to the end of the show. So, In order to cover all the week's remaining news, we must initiate a segment that I like to call Every single week, we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying! He's going for a world record and just failed. So, with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Thunder noise! And go! Blizzard is working on an animated Overwatch TV show. That's going to be awesome. We got our first look at gameplay for the upcoming Baldur's Gate 3. Dead by Daylight unveiled a brand new killer by the name of Deathslinger. And speaking of Dead by Daylight, a mobile version of the game is launching this spring. We got our first look at the movie posters for the upcoming Monster Hunter film. Resident Evil 3, the demo, was confirmed by Capcom this week. Facebook has acquired AAA Games, which, if you don't know who they are, they actually created the epic Sly Cooper games. Definitely check those out. Lara Croft will be joining Brawlhalla. Super Smash Bros. Got brand new spirits this week, of which Warframe is now a spirit in Smash Bros. Apex Legends dropped a brand new shield called the Evo Shield, which the more damage you do, the bigger your shield becomes. And finally, Borderlands 3 has brand new DLC that will be launching on March 26th. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Nerfed in 60 Seconds, and that is it for this week's episode of the show. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please share it with your friends. As always, my name is Brian Chappelle. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Brian Chappelle. Estoy muy gracias. I'm just kidding. Somebody out there is like, wait a sec, did I turn on SAP? No, you didn't. Hey, thanks again for checking out the channel. I appreciate all of your guys' support. And if you're wanting to watch more videos, check out our Game of the Week or our Google Stadia review.